hot.
Pope Francis invited more than 1,000 people to lunch on the Catholic Church's World Day of the Poor. The guests included transgender women from a seaside parish an hour south of Rome. They've received help from their local church since the onset of the COVID pandemic.
From that moment, Father Andrea always helped us. He opened the door. He brought us food. From there, our friendship was born.
They felt like beloved daughters, loved by God, and I think I can say loved by the Church.
Through Don Andrea, the Pope has sent us many things, because without that, we're foreigners. We don't have family, we don't have anyone. We couldn't work. We didn't have enough to eat or for rent, so we received a lot of help, and I was left speechless.
Hey, Shalom, brothers. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto, coming back with another one. How does this video make you feel? Right? Because if it gives you a feeling of anger or anything like that, then that means that you don't understand the world that you live in, right? We live in a world where everything has been turned upside down, right? We can't think that the Catholic Church or any other church system has anything to do with the scriptures, right? Or the praising or the worshiping of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They don't, right? And what you have to understand about the Catholic Church system is that it's intertwined with the occult. It just is, right? It has mystical theology. It has deep rituals. It has mantras, right? It has the rosaries, right? Which is the rosary beads. It has the chanting, the chanting communication with the spirit realm, right? It has the unholy Trinity, right? It has saints, and their saints goes back to different deities and idols, right? It has magical tomes of unholy incantations, which is just a book, right? Like a book of rituals or a book of spells. So when you understand exactly what the Catholic Church is, you understand that homosexuality, transgenderism is going to be a part of it. They've been showing us that since they've been charged with so much counts of pedophilia. So obviously pedophilia is also a part of the Catholic Church, which we go into all the time, which is sex magic. And a part of sex magic, the highest form of sex magic, is sleeping with a little child, especially a little boy. Especially a little boy, right? Because you women like to say that you're the most sexually abused, right? And you need protection from men. Don't you know that little boys are more abused than little girls? Little boys, man. So you got to protect your sons as well. We have this image in our minds that, you know, you just have to protect the woman because all people want from the woman is sex. Yes, a certain percentage of men are sexual degenerates, meaning that they'll look at a little girl, and when I say a little girl, I mean prepubescent, right? A girl before puberty, and actually want her. But the majority of people adulterate little boys. It's little boys that are adulterated because little boys are adulterated by grown women, which a lot of people don't like to talk about, right? And also, little boys are adulterated by men. And it might be men of a church group. It might be men in their families. It might be men who are their mentors, men who are their coaches. So little boys are actually in a place where they have more of a risk of being abused. Because when a little boy goes, let's say he goes to like a basketball camp or something like that, nobody's thinking about anything sexual to happen, because they're just like, yeah, that's just a group of boys. They're good. That's all people are thinking. They're not thinking anything sexual. Now, with a young girl, you're always thinking something sexual, because you're just thinking, oh yeah, that's a girl. Something sexual could happen. With a boy, you're not thinking anything can happen. Right? But with boys, the nature of adulteration is actually kept secret, because they feel so ashamed, or because they're so emasculated, because it completely goes against manhood, that they don't even know how to speak up. Right? So this world is completely out of order. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 4 verse 1. So I turned and considered all the oppression that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. Right? So we're in this time, we are a representation of that comforter. Yahushua is the comforter, but the men that are speaking these words to clean you men and you women up, we are a representation of that, because we're bringing you that comfort through his word. Whose word? Yahushua's word. Who sent Yahushua? Yahweh. So that healing is going to come through the word. This is Matthew chapter 13 verse 13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. Right? So when we give this word onto our people, we're not just supposed to give it and then they don't change. No, you're supposed to see, you're supposed to hear, you're supposed to understand what we're saying. Verse 14, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see and shall not perceive. And you have a lot of people like that today, right? They hear, but they don't understand. They see, but they can't perceive. That means that this truth is not for them. Verse 15, for this people's heart is wax gross, right? So you have to understand who can be healed, right? And you can tell when a person is healing themselves through their actions, because the majority of people, their heart is wax gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart. What's your heart? Your mind. And should be converted. See? So you can't just be completely against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, right? Then you get this truth, but you're not converted. No, you need to convert from your ways. You cannot continue in sin. It doesn't work that way. Now, yes, this truth is preached unto all Israel, unto all Israelites. It doesn't matter what they are into. It doesn't matter if they're homosexuals. Doesn't matter if they're transgenders. This has to be preached unto all of them. But the only way you're going to know if the Savior wants them is if they are converted. And I should heal them. See? So it's the Savior that's going to heal them. You would be healed. And you would be healed in, it says, and understand in their heart. So your mind will be changed. Verse 16, it says, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them. Right? So it's all about your actions. It's all about changing your behavior. So if you were a drug dealer, you're not a drug dealer anymore. If you were into certain things that are against the law, you used to eat pork or used to eat shrimps, well, you can't eat those things anymore. If you used to smoke weed or you used to do drugs, you cannot do those things anymore. You have to be converted.
To eat or for rent, so we received a lot of help, and I was left speechless.
Hey, and they didn't receive any help, because the help that they need is mental help, which is really spiritual health, right? Spiritually, they're destroyed because that's a man, and that's a man that thinks that they are a woman, right? Which means that they have demons on them. So the help that they need is not aid. That's why us at GMS, we don't feed you with donations. Really and truly, we should be getting the donations because we're the prophets, right? We are the teachers. We're the ones that are doing the Lord's work. So really and truly, we should be taken care of, right? But we don't give out aid, right? We're not going to be giving out turkeys. Today is one of the pagan days of this society, which is their Thanksgiving, which has nothing to do with giving thanks. It has everything to do with the slaughter of our people, which is the Gadites. And we won't be giving out turkeys, and we won't be giving out blankets. What we're giving out is the word. That's the only thing we give out over here, the word, which is the real food. Right? We're giving out wine. We're giving out meat. We're giving out bread. We're giving out water. We're giving out honey. That's what we're giving out. The only thing that you people are really and truly giving out is strong drink, right? Delusions. You're putting delusions on the people, and you're keeping the people in their low state. You're supposed to uplift people for them to come out of that low state.
Some transgender Catholics have felt isolated from the church. Others feel more connected to the community.
And you cannot be a part of a actual church. So let's say someone is transgender, and they want to come and they want to be a part of the camp. Well, you can't come to the camp looking like this. You can't come to the camp because that's going against the scriptures. This is completely against the scriptures. So how could you even come down to the camp? Come down to the camp for what? This is Deuteronomy 22, verse 5. It says, "The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man." Okay, so transgender in any way. So a woman transforming into a man, or a man transforming into a woman. So the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. So you're an abomination, which means that you would have to clean yourself up. You cannot come down to the camp dressed like that, looking like that, sounding like that. No, you got to clean yourself up, man. You're going to come around us and what? What do you have to share? What do you have to offer? You need to cleanse yourself first. This is Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17. "There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel," which we have plenty of those in the world. So our daughters are not supposed to be whores. But what does it say down here? "Nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel." Right? So if those men who were invited to the Vatican by the Pope. If they're Israelites, well, they're not supposed to be living the lifestyle that they're living. The scriptures just said it. So how can you promote it? You cannot promote it. And they would have to change. It just said, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. So are we supposed to be sodomites? No, it's against the scriptures, man. Completely. Now, like I was saying before about the Catholic Church, they have the mantras, and the mantras, they function as a magical incantation, right? So spell casting, and also conjuring and invocation. You know what? Let's get a couple of those words real quickly. Let's get invocation. Now, this is the word
invocation.
It says the action of invoking something or someone for assistance or as an authority. Okay. It says the summoning of a deity or the supernatural. Okay. An incantation used to evoke a deity or the supernatural. Right? Just like the witch of Endor when she called back Samuel. So that is something that is able to be done. And people do it all the time. Let's go back. It says, the action of invoking something or someone for assistance. So when people tell you that, oh, I know you, and I know what you've been doing and stuff like that, they probably can. Because you have a lot of witches that they can send a spirit after you to figure out what you were about. A lot of these women will tell you, I have intuition. Oh, it's my intuition. A lot of them women's have demons, and the demons are working with them because a lot of them women know how to evoke spirits. And same thing goes for these men. So going back to what I was saying, dealing with the mantras, when you do a mantra, which the Catholic Church, they do different mantras. Like I was saying, we looked up the word invocation, where they're able to do different spells, which can be used to curse or even bless. They can use it as a prayer as well, which the word spell is perhaps the nearest approach to the language Sanskrit and the word mantra. And it is a form of words or sounds which are believed to have a magical effect when uttered with intent. Now, you also, in the Catholic Church, you also have the rosary. And the rosary is a string of beads that Roman Catholics use to pray with vain repetition, which is a pagan ritual. How do we know? Let's get it. This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 6. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Right? So there's a way that people can pray, and there's a way that you shouldn't pray. So verse 7 says, but when ye pray, use not vain repetitions, as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. So this completely goes against what we just read in Matthew's, right? And this is in Israel. This is in the Holy Land, right? And they're talking about a prayer wall, but this completely goes against the scriptures. The scripture says that you're supposed to pray in secret so the Father can reward you openly. Then it also went into not using vain repetition, which is all that these people are doing. They're just using vain repetition, right? But we just saw that these people who are in the land today, what are they really doing? They're really doing incantations. They're really doing conjuring, invocation, and evocation. And that has everything to do with spell casting. This is spell casting. And like I said, the word spell is perhaps the nearest approach to the Sanskrit word mantra. So that's all that this is. This is a mantra. And that's the same thing that they use in the Catholic Church. It's a form of words, of sounds, which are believed to have a magical effect. So that's all we're seeing right now. These are a bunch of magicians. These are not holy men. These are unholy men. That's what it's believed to have a magical effect when uttered with intent. Right? Then let me see. I don't know if any of these people have any rosaries, but that's something that the Catholic Church is big into. They're big into rosaries, right? And the rosary is, like I was saying, it's a string of beads that the Roman Catholics use to pray with their vain repetitions. They actually have certain prayers that they pray while they're holding that rosary. I think there's over 200 different prayers, and one of them is for Mary, right? Where in the scriptures does it say to pray to Mary? That's actually against the law. That's an idol. You're really praying unto the mother goddess, which goes back to Semiramis or Sybil or whichever form, or Diana or Minerva or Eve, whichever form of mother goddess that you prefer, that's who you're praying to. And which is what? These are all pagan rituals. And how do we know? Because prayer beads originated with the Hindus. It was the Hindus that the prayer beads go back to. How else do we know that the Catholic Church is pagan? Because many pagan sites and temples were changed, and it's known as Christianization of pagan peoples, especially during the time when our people were in rulership during the Dark Ages. They would convert our people from pagans to Christians. But Christianity itself was an amalgamation of the Word of God with paganism, and you can't do that. That's completely against the scriptures. This is Isaiah 34:16. What does it say? Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. And what does it say in Revelation 1:5, I think? It says, blessed is he that readeth. No one of these shall fail. What is that talking about? The prophecies. None shall want her mate. What is that talking about? Any other book. There is no coming together with the scriptures. The scriptures is the scriptures. That's the word of the Most High. Simple. None shall want her mate. None. So there's no coming together with any other books or any other religions, which this is not a religion, or any other belief system. There's no coming together with any other belief system. Now this, what we're looking at right here, is what? The Pantheon. The Pantheon is a former Roman temple, right? It says it right here, right? It says, I'm just reading from Google, so brothers can Google it themselves. But it says the Pantheon is a former Roman temple, and since 609 AD, a Catholic church in Rome, Italy. It was built on the site of an earlier temple commissioned by Marcus Agrippa during the reign of Augustus. Then after that burnt down, the present building was ordered by the Emperor Hadrian and probably dedicated in 126 AD. Okay. Somebody asks, what is the Pantheon famous for? The answer, the Pantheon is famous for being the most perverse monument in ancient Rome. It was constructed as a temple dedicated to the gods and became the burial ground for several important people, including famous artists and kings. But what did it say? The most perverse monument of ancient Rome. And this is where they decided to put a church. Do you know why? Because the Catholic Church system is perverse as well. And it's amalgamation between pagan rituals and the scriptures. So I'm not saying they don't mix certain things with the word of God, but it's mixed with paganism. And can you do that? No, you cannot do that at all. Right? And these are the things that were converted to Catholic Church, and it was known as Christianization. Right? And these things were dedicated to Mary or whatever God that they were upholding at that time. This is another Roman pagan site in Britain, may have been converted to Christian use in the 4th century, such as the Temple of Claudius in Roman Colchester and 2 of the 7 Romano-Celtic temples in the town, all of which underwent reconstruction in the 300s AD, and around which have been found early Christian symbols, right? And in total, the Christianization was about 750 sites, right? I can't really confirm that number, but it's around that. And it's 750 sites have been converted. A lot of those sites go back to Mithras, right? A religion that had been a main rival to Christianity during the 2nd and 3rd century, which popes today have a representation of Mithra, priests, right? So when you see a priest today in the Vatican, he's really a Mithraic priest. And there's a thing known as divine emasculation or castration, which was intended to increase spiritual powers. So when you see the Pope with people like who we're about to see,
since the onset of the COVID pandemic.
From that moment, Father Andrea always helped us. He opened the door. He brought us food. From there, our friendship was born.
They felt like beloved daughters, loved.
You hear what the man just said? They felt like beloved daughters. No, those are men. Those are men. They're actually not daughters. Daughters refer to women or girls, right? So this is completely off. Completely off. But like I said, there's a thing known as divine emasculation or castration, and it was intended to increase spiritual powers. The earliest textual evidence of castrated of castrated gods refers to Osiris, right? God of the dead, right? Which goes back to Egypt. To the Greek, he was Hades or Dionysus. As Dionysus, he is effeminate or asexual, right? In Greek mythology, you also have Cybele and Attis. And Attis was a human, Right? Remember, this is all Greek mythology, so don't think I believe I believe in any of this foolishness. Attis was a human who was a eunuch from birth, and he traveled to Lydia in Anatolia, where he becomes such a pious devotee to Cybele, which is a woman worshiper, right? The mother goddess. And that's what the majority of transgenders are. They worship women to such a high state that they now believe that they are women, right? And you have a lot of young men that are like this as well. This is not just people who are transgenders. I did a video on, are you a mama's boy? The reason why you're a mama's boy is because you exalt the feminine energy. And that's all that a transgender is. A transgender exalts the feminine energy over masculine energy, which is coursing through their body, right? So they castrate themselves, which also gives them more feminine energy, right? Just like when you neuter a dog. When you neuter a dog, the dog is forever changed. The dog is never the same, right? That's the same thing that castration does. It brings onto you that feminine energy that's already searing through your body because you uphold feminine energy at such a high level. So you in turn become a woman because you are a woman worshiper, right? And that was Attis. I'm just trying to think of the other god. Drake's son. What's Drake's son's name? Adonis. So there's a story of Adonis, and he also was castrated, but he died. He died from a bull or something. I can't remember. And so we have to be careful of what's going to happen with Drake's son, right? So they have, just a side note, they're going to have a lot planned for Drake's son, because that the story of Adonis died from castration. So who knows?
By God, and I think I can say loved by the church.
Through Don Andrea, the Pope has sent us many things, because without that, we're foreigners. We don't have family, we don't have anyone. We couldn't work. We didn't have enough to eat or for rent, so we received a lot of help, and I was left speechless.
Some transgender Catholics have felt isolated from the church. Others feel more connected to the community.
And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but no, that's an actual thing. Transgender Catholic, that's completely fine. That is completely fine. Because the Catholic Church is mixed in with paganism anyway. So for them to have a transgender, why not? Right? Why not? Look at what they do with little boys. And that's not me saying it. That's all the criminal cases that the whole world has against the Catholic Church. This is worldwide criminal investigation on pedophilia that has to do with the Catholic Church, right? So why would they not ingrain transgenders when transgenders are worshipers of the feminine energy? So all they can tell them is, hey, all you got to do is worship Mary, and that's fine. There you go. They're a worshiper of the Mother Goddess within the Catholic Church. Her name is Mary.
My whole family is Roman Catholic, and I've always participated in prayers. I've never felt rejected by the church, never.
No. They did not see us as normal people. They saw us as the devil. 35 years ago.
And no, you people are not the devil. You're actually being deceived. You're not deceiving anybody. You're only deceiving yourself, right? You actually have an issue. You have an issue that you need to fix, because the Most High created you in a certain way. And if you're an Israelite man, you're supposed to serve the Most High, but you can't serve the Most High like this. The Most High won't accept a servant like this. This is Jeremiah 44:18. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. And that's why these people, that's why these men are at the Vatican to go look food. But see, they're worshiping the mother goddess, and look, they're in famine. That's why they're out there begging food, because they're destroyed. They're destroyed by the Heavenly Father, man. Right? Because they put off their power, which is a masculine energy, to take on the feminine energy, which is a woman's power. And that's why a lot of you women are destroyed. A lot of you women are destroyed because you're trying to encompass masculine energy, and it will never work for you. Never. This is Jeremiah 7:18. It says, the children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. They provoke me to anger, said the Lord. Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? So this is to the confusion of your own self. Right? You're destroyed. That's why you're in the Vatican begging food. Right? You thought this was going to uplift you. You thought you were going to be a woman. You thought you're going to take on the energy of a woman, because you know how the energy of a woman is. Women are able to be taken care of. So you thought as a man you were going to put on a dress, put on makeup, and what? You were going to be taken care of? Nah, there's destruction on you because of that wickedness, man. Right? But with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that rule well and that teach well, and to the brothers on the four corners of the earth doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Shalom. Till next time. Kwam Yasharah.